Hey folks, Steve Wilmes, and today we're going to be looking at the duck dive method of glove removal. As you can see, I've been working and practicing. We got a question, and it was, what's the best method to remove my latex gloves or my rubber gloves, nitrile gloves, whatever it may be. There's a lot of methods out there, and today I'm going to go over those, and I'm going to show you a couple of different areas to be mindful of. Watch till the end of this because there's a lot of nuance to this. When we do training in person, we'll actually put out a trash can, we'll put blood all over their gloves. We'll do that where the blood kind of dries. We'll do it while it's slippery. And then what we want to do is see how they take it off. They should have no blood on the interior of their glove or touching their hand. We have about a 20% failure rate on that. We have to have people do it over and over again. So watch to the end of the video. I'll try to explain this quickly enough that you'll keep your attention, but there's a lot of little nuances here that I want to go through. So I'm going to grab a couple pairs of gloves. When we go to take off gloves, the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that the gloves are down close to the trash can. We want an open trash can. We don't want to have to push on the trash can. That's an additional point of contamination. So when I look at this, I want to make sure I'm never trying to remove gloves up here. Okay. So this is called the duck dive method. I live in Southern California at the beach. We do a lot of duck diving when we're surfing. And so, you'll see people dive under the wave, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to dive under this wave that we're going to create with our glove. So when I look at this, again, I'm going to do everything down here in reality. I'm going to show you some close-ups and things like that with the gloves. You'll see people say, make an L, make a J, make an L, make a J, whatever. You need to use your index and your thumb to pinch. And as we look at this glove, you can see just from the working area, a lot of these videos show gloves that look like this, right? So we have a lot of space here around the wrist to go ahead and grab. When I'm using most gloves, especially ones that we find in public works and things like this, we don't get a lot of space. As you can see, it's kind of already rolling up towards the pad of my hand. So I have to be careful here. I don't want to rip the glove way out here. I want to make sure, especially if I have oil, grease, or blood, fresh blood on my hand or anything slippery, that when I do pinch this area, that I have a good grip on it and I'm not going to let it go, right? So a lot of times we'll even start down here to really show the better angle to grab. But what we're going to do for this duck dive method is we're just going to grab around here, and I'm going to pull this out a little bit, and I'm going to take either my index or my middle finger or a couple fingers, and I'm going to push into this exterior portion of the glove. And this is a potential point of failure. As you can see, I have exposed skin now. I want to make sure that I pull this far enough out and then I have a good enough, deep enough grip on that exterior rim of the glove. And so I'm going to pull this. I'm going to make it look like a little duck. I'm all getting ready to dive into my wave. I dive into my wave, and as you can see, I'll illustrate this a little bit better, but the back of the glove starts to roll up on my hand. The key point here is you want to make sure that covers the thumb as well, and you want to make sure, like, it's starting to roll up here on my pinky knuckle. So I want to make sure that this doesn't fly off, because then I have other problems. So I'm able to kind of expand this and open it up like a talking puppet. And now I'm going to dive over to this glove, and I'm going to, again, try and grab. This whole area here should be clean because it's the interior of the glove. And I'm going to try and grab right around here again. Again, I can't really get too much right on the edge, so I'm going to have to try and go more towards the pad. And all I'm going to do is pull this off. I can let it drop right into the trash can. I don't want to snap that. I don't want to shoot it. You'll see some people are pulling it and letting it shoot, and same thing here. All I'm going to do now is go ahead and pull this off. Now, what they show a lot of is you can just grab this right here on the exterior and pull it off. But the problem with that is I just touched that exterior of this glove. So I got to kind of work it off. If I do this, I'm shooting it everywhere. So I have to pull this off. Let's look at how to do it properly now that we have it again. So I'll get a new pair of gloves. I'll put these on. All right. And I kind of walked through some of the problems. So let's look at this as we do it the proper way. So again, pinching, opening up my hand, grabbing here, making sure I have a secure grip, pulling, diving into it here, making a duck, diving in, making sure it doesn't roll over all of my knuckles so that I actually have clean glove here. I reach in, I pull this one off all the way. I can drop that into my trash can. And now I have to be careful to get up near the fingers that haven't been touched. So that's a good method. It's the duck dive method. And I want to show you a couple other issues that we have with that duck dive method. I'll show it again and I'll count the steps with you so that you have that. But let's grab a couple of these. I want to show you the problems that we encounter with this. And then I want to show you what to do if you rip your glove, because that happens from time to time. Sometimes you find that you put on a glove that, gosh, it was too small, or it's been sitting on the dash of your truck and shouldn't have, right? So as I explained, when we start this duck dive method, we're going to step one, open up our pincher. We're going to grab, let me start that again. Step one, open up our pincher. You can do L, you can do J, you can do a C, whatever you want, I don't care. We're going to open up our hand. We're going to show our palm like, give me some money. Then we're going to reach over calmly. We're going to get a good grip on this. We're going to, step three, pull up. Step four, dig into the rim of the glove, right? Step five, we're going to create our duck face. Step six, we're going to curl into our duck, and we're going to make sure that we have the thumb covered. That's extremely important. We also got to watch this exterior outside. It likes to roll up. I have hair on my arms and wrist, and sometimes if I don't trim it on a routine basis, it gets a little long and it can get stuck in there and it can hold this down, making it a little bit odd when it rolls up, and it can also hold the glove in a position where it can contaminate your skin. So you have to make sure that you're watching that as you go. I'm going to step seven, stretch the glove, making sure I have my thumb covered. It's not going to fly off on me. Step eight, I'm going to dive into the other side, being very careful where I place this clean portion of my glove. Again, I don't want to turn my hand in a way. I'm not going to try and do it this way where I can contaminate anything over here. So that step 7, 8 is to open this hand. More money, please. We're going to reach in. We're going to pull this. And again, I got to be careful not to snap it. Drop that glove. Step 9. Step 10 is to roll this off. I can grab the exterior knuckle or the interior knuckle, either way, and I just want to work that off. And again, I want to make sure that I'm not snapping, pulling, throwing, tossing, shooting blood, grease, and oil all over everything. Step 11, wash your hands. Wash your hands. So that's easy. We'll put those on the screen for you. Knocking stuff off here. We're going, as you can see, I was practicing a lot with all those gloves that I threw out at first. I really wanted to try a bunch of different methods that I saw. This one, the duck dive method that we created, is really good. It works well. You can do the other one where you pinch here, you pull it up, you go under with a clean finger. This one gets hard because a lot of times you got to get that open and it's hard to get in there without touching anything. So again, when we do this, I want to make sure that I watch the hair, and I can feel the hair pulling in there. So the longer this is, I want to make sure that that rolls and stays rolling on the inside, right? And that's a nice little area. And I want to make sure that it stays over the knuckle and it goes over my thumb. If I don't go over my thumb and I get over that, when I go to reach, I have this potential exposure. Maybe there's blood or oil or grease or solvent or whatever it is on the exterior of my thumb. If that's not covered with the interior portion of the glove and it's exterior like that and I go to grab, I can easily make a mistake and touch exposed skin. So I got to make sure that I get the thumb covered so I have a new L, a new J, a new pincher, a new C, whatever you want to call. And then I can actually reach over here. When I do that, I want to make sure that I am looking at the glove, that I'm pinching in a space that is appropriate, and then I can pull that off. And again, I don't want this flying around because now I have even less coverage from a glove. So if this happens to be exposed or broken and it gets on my hand here, I let it fly, then that's a problem. So again, I don't want to shake it either, because if I have a lot of juice on my hand, it's going to fly out. So pull from the exterior, the interior, and I want to just do this as close to the trash can. So actually what I should look like is more like this, out and down, right? So if I kind of stand out and down so that I can just pull it off and drop it. I never want to be doing it in this workspace. I want to be doing it down at sink level, trash can level. I want to be dropping it in there, okay? Now, if, for example, we get a glove and let me see if I can put a little hole in here. All right, we get a glove. I realize I shouldn't turn my back to you folks, but I got a hole, right? And I got my first glove off nice and easy. This one's got a hole. Well, what do? We only have a couple options here. If I take a paper towel and I put it on top, now this is exposed. I can't really go and grab a glove here and try and get it on. I mean, I can try, but it's kind of difficult. I'm not John Wick. I just don't, well, maybe I can get it on, but I would rather use a different method. Like, I don't want to do that either with my mouth, because guess what? I haven't washed my hands yet. So that's a problem. I can't go wash my hands because then I'm going to smear blood, oil, grease, solvent. Some things that shouldn't go down the drain will go down the drain. And I don't want to make that dilution get all over my hands and go inside the glove. So the first thing I'm going to do, my hole is here on the palm. I'm going to make sure that gravity is pulling any substance down and away from my skin. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to whistle. And Matt's going to come over and I'm going to say, hey, Matt, can you put on a pair of gloves and help me remove this glove, or, help me out here. Matt can then put on his gloves and he can carefully try to pull this down and out. So he would do that in this manner with his gloves on. That's going to be our simplest way to get that off. Again, depending on our exposure level, we may need to report that. We may need to run off to the hospital and get our prophylactic. You want to follow those bloodborne pathogen. Sorry, the delivery truck's coming by. You want to do the bloodborne pathogen exposure reporting and treatment ASAP if you have bloodborne pathogens that you've been exposed to. So again, if you do get a hole, I looked on Google to see, because we do teach this in our course, what to do, but we don't see a lot of it. I saw a lot of like, how do you repair a latex glove? How do you repair a rubber glove? Not repairing these, we're tossing these. These are disposable, one-time use gloves. Do not try to repair it. Do not try to do anything else with it, reuse it. So the best thing to do is make sure that gravity is working against the fluid and pulling it down and away from your skin. If at all possible, I mean, sometimes you could just grab another glove and just hold it. I mean, again, this is really, depends on where you are in the box and how fresh, but sometimes you may just want to lay it on there and try and grab it like that. So let's do that one real quick. If worse comes to worse, that's what we're going to have to do, right? We're going to have to, see, and I just tore this one just trying to put it on. So we'll get this glove on here. Take my screwdriver, and now I have a couple holes. I want to do gravity. This glove's already come off. So what I want to do now is I can take this glove right on top. I'm not going to throw it. And I'm just going to try and pull that off. Again, I snapped it, not a good thing. And I want to drop that in the trash, wash up ASAP. So if no one's there to help you, then by all means, you can try and get a glove on. You can try and get your fingers in here just a little bit like this, like we did. Grab that, pull it off, use it on top. But you have to be very slow, methodical, and very careful. So I hope this helps. This is the duck dive method. Let me show it to you one more time if you're still watching. If you need help, you can send us a little message down below. We're happy to look at that. If you want to do real life training with us with actual blood, guts, oil, grease, solvents, we'll show you all the different types of gloves that you can use, and we'll show you how to do it properly. So duck dive method, again, our pincher, we're going to grab, pull out, we're going to pull back. I got to watch this area. I'm going to dive in, make sure it rolls up. Thumb is covered. Spread eagle here. Grab, start to pull this off. Drop. Let that come forward. I'll pull off very easily. This is all clean portion. Drop. Good to go. That's our duck dive method from Wilmes, and I hope you enjoy it. Leave us any comments or feedback that you have, and be mindful of your glove removal. That is the point where all of the contact and exposure really comes from.